This video is an update on my Valentine radar detector setup that fits on most of my motorcycles interchangeably, and how I developed it and how I use it. Now recently I had a couple of people email me and had a comment on the video about what is that thing on the gas tank? What is that? And I know I haven't recently put on a video channel what this is. This is a Valentine radar detector that you can buy from Valentine. This part is called a screamer. They also sell it at Valentine. I think you can buy it right from them if I remember right. Now, but everybody wants to know, I guess this is a common thing, and Jose, by the way, is the one that gave me all the information, and I saw how effective it was on his bike, and I wanted to make mine that I could put it on pretty much most of the bikes in my collection. So on the bottom of it I have a Jivy tank. This is from a tank bag. It normally would mount a tank bag, but I've taken the parts off, made this little piece out of aluminum, mounted everything to it. I want to show this up close and personal. It may be something that from the video I posted years and years ago, probably 5 years ago, maybe that video doesn't show every step, but I'll just try to go through it real quick today before we head out on the open road. So the first thing is the Jivy bank bag mount. This would be, normally you would have a tank bag here, and it's got a quick release, and of course you have to be able to take it off to put gas on the bike. It's best if the radar detector faces forward, but I've had it mounted when I had other tank bags and other setups. I've had it mounted sideways, backwards. It works, but it probably works the most efficient facing straight forward. If you read the Valentine information, it tells you that a radar detector is like a radio. It picks up a signal. So the way I have this engineered, this is a piece of aluminum. This is the part that would actually attach to the tank bag. This is the quick release. And what it allows me to do is any of my bikes that have the Jivy ring, and when you order a Jivy ring, you got to order it for the bike or else the bolts don't line up. Ask me how I know. So when you would be done gassing the bike, fueling the bike, and you want to mount the radar detector, you're done. That's how simple it is. Now there's always a wire, and I use the same wire for charging the bike in the winter, keeping it on a battery tender. And a wire, it's just a plus and a minus, and that connects. As soon as you hear that beep, you know you have a connection, but the radar detector is off. So you turn it on. Now what it does is, by pressing a button, you have 3 different settings. I leave it on a setting that you can pick up all radar. So it picks up a lot of useless stuff, but it always picks up when you have a bogey coming your way. And that, for me, to ride out Route 80 every day and then ride back, worth its weight in gold. So I wanted to show another thing now. Okay, so you buy the radar detector. If I remember right, it was a little over maybe $425, $400. And I thought it was a lot of money until I saw how much some of my friends were paying for tickets. Tickets in this area of the world are expensive. The screamer, I think, was $90. Now you wonder, how do you hook this all up? Well, I'm going to show up close here. I bought this little box in Lowe's. It was $12. And I have the ability now, I keep a bag in here. Let me just shut the radar detector off. A bag to go over the radar detector if it's raining. I always keep a couple of spares too. And wires, band-aids, a screwdriver for adjusting to the suspension, some Allen wrenches, extra batteries for my cameras, and this little setup, I don't know. I know a lot of people have different setups. I used to have this mounted to a tank bag. If you look at really old videos, that worked, but then it was moving around all the time. This is nice and solid. Very easy. If I want to charge the battery, just disconnect it. And of course at the end of the ride or day, make sure it's off. So I hope that's good information for the people that contacted me. And you might think, gee, that's a lot of money. The first time you get a $400 ticket, you realize, uh-oh. And now that you paid the ticket, you still don't have the radar detector. So of course, I have the same connector, the Jivy, but again, each one has to be married up to the bike you're going to mount it on when you order it from Jivy. Vlad got me these, and he knew which ones to order. Now here's one that really didn't fit the way it should. It's a 5-bolt. I converted it to be a 3-bolt. But if you order the right one, you don't have to do that. And Jivy basically makes one for all modern bikes. The trouble is, like on a GS, there's no real, the two really old bikes, there's no realistic way without making some big concoction of things. So I've kind of put that on the back burner till I can come up with a better idea. But anyway, this is a great way to take it on and off. And you could also interchange with the Jivy bag. So you might be thinking, well, it's hideous looking when you're riding around, but actually once you start riding around, you don't even know it's there. And I don't mind looking at it, but I do mind paying for tickets, unnecessary tickets. And what happens when you have a radar detector? In the course of where I am, I get to know where they are, and then the next day, or I'm riding almost every day, I know, oh, that's a place where they're 9 times out of 10, they're there, they're there, there. So, and you just save a lot of frustration, aggravation, and that big thing, you save the points on your license that can double your insurance in one ticket. So we're ready. I'm going to pre-flight the bike, check the air in the tires, do my normal pre-flight, and hopefully get out on the open road really soon. It's another beautiful day, and this time of year, almost every day is fabulous. Time to get out on the open road. So how did this start? About 5 or 6 years ago, I was riding with Jose on a group ride up in the Catskills. We were on some really twisty roads. And I was about 3 motorcycles back shooting video, and I could hear his radar detector going off. I'd see a bunch of brake lights go on, and we'd go cruising right through some radar as if nothing happened. And I thought, as time went by, I said, you know, a good time to buy the radar detector is before you get that real expensive ticket and that increase on your insurance, which in our state can be absolutely devastating. Now on the back roads here, there's not a lot of bogeys out hiding in the bushes, but there are still some. And I don't want to even have one ticket. Now, being honest about another thing, I don't even like being pulled over or stopped, or and I have in the past gotten pulled over and talked my way out of a ticket sometimes, but I don't even enjoy that. The radar detector eliminates some of that. Now, for me, where it really pays for itself, I have to go from my house to where I get off to go into the good riding area. A couple of things. I have to ride out 30 miles on Route 80 to do that. Or I have to take a lot of back roads that sometimes are clogged with traffic, sometimes not. But Route 80, there's times the radar detector will tell you 2 miles, mile and a half up the road that they're looking for you. They're hiding on the island, they're hiding in the trees, they're doing this, they're doing that. And one of the worst places around, the absolute worst place, is there's places where they can blend into by a school. I go past a school and it just looks like another car parked there, and you look real close and it's a bogey. So my record is, knock on wood, that since I have the radar detector and I have it mounted up on the bike almost all the time, in that time window, I have not been pulled over even once. And the people that ride with me on the group rides, they know many times we've come around a corner and I'd hear the radar detector go off in a spot you'd never expect us to see radar, and there it is. And It's uncanny how many places that radar can hide. Now, besides Jose, several of my other friends have radar detectors of various brands, and to be honest, we exchange stories all the time about who's hiding where, who's hiding under the rock here or in the gas station here or whatever. And it's pretty predictable once you know the game, and you really don't want it. The thing with, in my case, because I have 7 bikes insured, I don't want to pay double the insurance on all my bikes the minute you trigger off that thing with a speeding ticket. It's terrible. Now, I remember Vince had the whole radar detector hidden on his bike permanently. You couldn't even tell he had a radar detector. It was hidden. Mine is kind of obvious, but I think most of the people don't even know what it is. They think it's a suitcase full of cigars or something. I really don't know. And the best comment I ever heard was at one of Dale's shows at Bikes and Breakfast. A young guy walked up, looked at it, and he says, "Well, what is that?" And I explained to him what it was, and I explained to him why I have it, that I ride almost every day, and I like to ride, 1 mile over the speed limit sometimes. And he was laughing. He says, "Oh, I have this friend, he got 6 tickets, he lost his license. Then my other friend, he had to sell his bike, he got so many tickets. And then this guy got pulled over and he didn't have his license renewed." And he went through this myriad story for 10 minutes of all things, only because they got pulled over. If you don't get pulled over, you're not in trouble. So the objective was on this video, as well as getting a ride, I wanted to share some of my thoughts on the Valentine radar detector. It's worked out well for me. I know it's worked out great for Jose and a lot of other people. It really does work. Now, there's been times where I've stopped on the side of the road having a bagel or something. I forget to shut it off, like at the Cracked Cup, and a cop will go by, and all of a sudden you hear the radar detector. Beep, 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 beep. And today I decided I want to take the long way home past Lincoln Park Airport. On a day like today, there's no breeze. They'll be flying those electric airplanes. And of course, the bad news about going through the back way, there's radar on the back roads too. Every town is unique with their radar. Now, on the way back from our ride today, I stopped at Lincoln Park Airport for a break and watched another one of the experimental electric airplanes. This is a very rare thing. It's an electric airplane. I watched them take off. I've done that several times before. It is very cool stuff. Lincoln Park Airport is home to these electric airplanes that they've been experimenting with, and I haven't got any more information to share right now, but it's a great place to stop for lunch or stop on a ride like today when the weather is perfect. So at the end of a great ride, it's just one final thought. The radar detector always just leaves you a little security blanket, saves you money. It's a great thing. I am so glad I invested in it. And again, thank you, Jose, for your help in the beginning getting it and figuring it out. It was well worth the effort. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button if you did, and thank you so much for watching.